Alrighty. So it's been a few minutes since the last clip, the last video. I now wanted to record the second part of this today's releases. Basically, there has been some time between the first recording and this recording. Meanwhile, I've sadly enough impulsively decided to go to get some supplies, and with that I mean weed. Next to that, which I will explain after, I got this tobacco replacer to roll my joints with. Oh yeah, this video will concern the last 16 days and how I've been handling myself in quitting with smoking. What are the important factors that I considered for myself to help myself succeed? Well, then first we should define success. I've looked back at the videos to also make sure that I wasn't bullshitting myself, but I have smoked this tobacco replacer with weed, which is also not a good idea for me, but at the same time I don't consider that as having failed, because there is no tobacco in it, and there ain't and it is more to get high than smoke something, and that getting high would be the most important thing. The first reason why I fell back was I was seeing friends and we did some sosa, which I explained in the last video. And basically for me to fall asleep I used it, and that night with tobacco, it was a very little. We consciously did that, made a very strong joint with some tobacco in there to make it light, or I'm not sure. Anyways, I also had a lot to drink and had something else too, and basically I still didn't smoke, but only the weed to fall asleep. I don't consider that as having failed, because there are no cigarettes and solely tobacco wasn't something that ever happened. So yeah, story, it is it could be judged easily, especially considering that I had a lot of momentum. But I felt weaker today after having fought with my best friend. It sucks, and I wanted to solve the pain, I guess. It's not a good idea for several reasons, but I think I'll do that tomorrow. But now that I am high, I was gonna show you guys how I act like when I'm doing good at the moment. It's only a little bit extra stressful because I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing at the moment. Talking very transparently about my life and those of my friends, and I need to be careful, I believe. But we'll see. Anyways, well, I have seen this video. To move on, I have seen some videos trying to educate myself, and what I've learned is that if you sacrifice tobacco as a habit, you would have to replace it by something, because I would say that your mind has to stay busy, but it's more complex. But anyways, I had built up the habit of drinking coffee, and you would think maybe you do it more healthily, but I really wanted something to reward myself and to be at least a bit healthier, and the caffeine wasn't helping me out at all. I was becoming very busy in my head. This might actually sketch, but then it's harder. I become forgetful, rushed, stressed. My mind starts racing. It's not good. So I went through decaf. I'm not sponsored by these products, I swear. and that has been a serious improvement. If you're an overthinker and you can see yourself in me a bit, consider stopping with caffeine. It has helped me, but I will be able to reflect on that better after more time has passed. There is this worry of mine for the long term, because I've been tough in the sense that I've been very successful in the short term now, but I'm worried about the long term. I have to stay consistent, and that is my problem. It has been in the past, I mean. So, because it was so underwhelmingly hard, or not hard, I basically tried to find ways to expose myself more towards the cravings, so that the short term would become harder and the long term would become a lot easier and reduce the chance of me failing in an uncontrolled setting. Because over here it would be a controlled setting. My parents know no cigarettes. Actually, that's not true. Anyways, I did start smelling cigarettes. That was something I did on a daily basis, and then 1/3 of a cigarette, and my dad would have the package. But I also showed you guys, not only now, but also when the day 2 and day 3, I believe. But anyways, that has not been stimulating at all, for me at least. I had a pretty easy time. The alcohol was a different story. That was interesting to get used to. I really won't recommend doing a lot. I definitely built up, and this weekend was a lot, but also with my friends. Watch out with that. That is actually, I hear so many people about that, and that was scary and unresponsible of me. So I almost failed if I didn't have that good of a friend. But anyways, if it had been up to me, so I was very lucky. And the salsa was also, yeah, and the coffee, of course. So those two would also be a serious factor. Both not stimulating at all for me, but I don't know what is up. I really don't know. I won't understand. But no. So that helped me get some cravings, and it was interesting. It was very light, but you could easily correct it. That I didn't feel nothing, I have to say, but you also get more used to things. And what I've seen, at least with my friends, it was also not hard at all, because it wasn't the first time I was exposed to it again. I did smell that, and I was like, no, I really didn't feel the need, really not. The joint was a different thing, interestingly enough, the second joint, because that one evening I only did 2, and then the day after I did 1 or 2, and the day after I did 2 again. All with the tobacco replacer, I have to say. But okay. You guys can judge for yourself if I failed. I don't want to say that, but you have the right to. You have the right to. I should definitely also consider that I can appreciate the fact that I didn't smoke a lot more, appreciate it more, I mean, because come on, man, the health benefits mentally and the win in the sense of mental toughness, I mean, for me, that is sort of like a miracle. I have no idea what is wrong with me or good with me, actually. But I'm just gonna enjoy it for as long as it lasts, and it's gonna last long. So I'm proud. That's for fucking sure. I have also consider that this project and how meaningful this is to me, and being transparent and open in any way, if you understand what I mean, has helped me build up accountability as this imaginary viewer that is judgmental in the sense that I need to be a proper communicator, but also actor as an example. So I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea of how I'm living my life and how you guys would happen to interpret that. Sometimes I really ask myself if I'm making sense. It does make a lot of sense to me, just so you know. So anyway, the Big Brother effect, I would call it. It's a spectator viewing moi, and that would put into place my behavior and create more responsibility in a sense. But yes, it helped towards quitting smoking at least. We'll see how that will develop. It's something I thought of, but what I've seen, so I did mention that I drank a lot more. I did do that gradually. Pay attention to that. Please, if you want to test yourself, please build it up. I did that, and it was already hard. So I can imagine that if you do it once and recklessly. I also mentioned that while smelling the cigarettes that there was a package. Oh no, maybe I didn't. My dad bought a package and he hid it, one cigarette a day, or actually a third. I give the cigarette back. I smell just to get the craving, but the big packet of cigarettes has been in the kitchen now for a few days, and yes, I have not had a lot more difficulty. I've walked past it more times than considered anything. The only thing I would have to say is that in the start, as soon as the controlled environment got manipulated so that the package would be there, I had a lot more difficulty because of the opportunity of doing it, you know. It's like, oh, I could, and sneakily too, you know. No, that's not the idea. You should master it. That's the small choices that you build up momentum with, and I've seen those opportunities and it has worked out too. I'm doing good. The only thing I've done is because I had to fight enough, but okay. I should have done, oh, never mind, sorry. But anyways, I asked my dad to put the cigarette packet away so that to ensure that I won't fuck up. And that was, I didn't smoke any tobacco, had the feeling definitely because of the emotionally dealing with stuff. And now I'm gonna talk about my silver bullet in the sense of coping with cigarettes. Nothing has really stimulated a craving, especially the only exception would be my emotional troubles. Thinking and stimulating emotions is difficult to deal with, and that's when my mind takes me to my coping mechanism I've been using for a serious amount of time, and that's when the addict comes up to explaining going back to the weed use again, which is not a good idea, but okay. The cigarettes was also a method of dealing with, sadly enough. So that was harder. Also didn't feel, I am so proud about that because I don't want to lose against those emotions. I don't know. For me, I really want to just be able to deal with it from now on because I cannot run anymore. That is destructive and toxic. For me, definitely. Anyways. Yes, that would be close to it. I had made a list with short bullet points to structure it a bit. I'm doing well, even though I'm high. As if those don't work together. but I do want to thank you for taking the time to look at this. This does mean something to me, and maybe not necessarily to you, but I hope it gives some ideas of how people lead their lives. Thanks for watching.